Hello and welcome to the channel. Be sure to share, like, and comment down below. And if you're new here, hit that subscribe button for daily videos on news and politics. Genius. Trump lays secret trap to catch illegals currently hiding out in sanctuary cities. Liberals have spent the past year and a half whining about Trump claiming he is racist, who only wants white people to succeed. Even those people who have known him for years and are fully aware that Trump isn't a racist have turned on the president to spread lies. One of Trump's major selling points that got him elected was his stance on illegal immigration. The president made it very clear that anyone who enters our country without the proper steps will be booted out. Of course, this was an opportunity to label Trump a bigot, and politicians across the country began to oppose his immigration policy by setting up sanctuary cities for illegal immigrants to be safe in. It doesn't matter to the Democrats who gets hurt in the process as long as they get their votes. Now, ever since Trump was elected in the office, sanctuary city mayors and governors across the country have been thumbing their nose at the president and federal law by harboring these illegal immigrants. But like Trump once said, he is a genius and has now put a secret trap in place to catch these traitors with the sneaky thing he's adding to the census paperwork, and California documents in particular are freaking out. Now, according to Politico, fear is rising among Democrats over the prospect that President Donald Trump's hardline on immigration might ultimately cost California a seat in Congress during the upcoming round of reappointment. Top Democrats are increasingly worried that the administration's restrictive policies and the potential inclusion of a question about citizenship on the next U.S. Census could scare whole swaths of California's large immigration policy away from participating in the decennial count. Now, resulting in an undercount that could cost the state billions of dollars in federal funding over the next decade, and perhaps the loss of one of its 53 seats in the U.S. House of Representatives. The fears are well founded. According to the population formula used by Congress to distribute House seats every 10 years, California is currently on the bubble in 2020, on the verge of losing a seat for the first time in its history. Now, California's Democratic Governor Jerry Brown on Wednesday proposed spending more than $40 million on the state's own census-related outreach efforts to avoid that fate. That's a lot of fear about the census count, said Paul Mitchell of Political Data Incorporated. Now, the voter data firm used by both Republicans and Democrats in California, the state is starting to get together resources because it does have an actual direct impact on state revenues if we have a severe undercount. California Secretary of State Alex Padilla told Politico that Trump's administration's management of the census could have devastating effects on his state. The citizenship question is just the latest red flag, maybe one of the biggest, but just the latest red flag, Padilla said. Angst about the 2020 census took hold nationally long before the Justice Department urged the U.S. Census Bureau last month to ask people about their citizenship, a request first reported by ProPublica. The Bureau has been hampered by management questions and funding shortages that voting rights advocates fear could hinder efforts to reach immigrants and other hard-to-count groups. A study conducted last month by Virginia-based Electronic Data Services claims California could potentially lose a congressional seat following the 2020 census regardless of the immigration participation in the count, a result of the state's flattering population growth. Now, meanwhile, Arizona, Colorado, Florida, Montana, North Carolina, Oregon, and Texas could be gaining seats, while at least 8 other states, including New York, Illinois, and West Virginia, could be losing one. Losing a congressional seat is a familiar predicament in the Rust Belt states, but for California to be facing this situation is unheard of. California has added 42 House seats since 1920 due to nearly non-stop population growth. For California being a blue state, the loss could be catastrophic for the Democrats. If millions of non-citizens refuse to participate in the U.S. Census, the Democrats will take a massive political beating. Tony Quinn, a political analyst and former Republican legislative aide, wrote in the Fox and Hound's political blog last week. That's because the electoral districts must be drawn based on population. The non-citizen population resides in heavily Democratic areas. If they are not counted, those areas will have sufficient population to support Democratic congressional and legislative districts, especially in the big cities. Now it says, when will the Democrats learn that Trump will always figure out a way to beat them at their own game? They are furious over Trump's successes, and they know, that if this continues, they will never be able to fully recover. This is exactly why Americans voted for Trump in the first place. And it says they know he will get the job done because he is a winner.